bright as day, in black as night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern fly.
Hey everyone, it's the Man in Black here, and this is another entry to 52 Weeks of Green Lantern. That was a song brought to you by Sin Wicked of Sinfully Wicked Critiques, and you'll be seeing a lot more of that over the next few weeks. He was gracious enough to craft a Green Lantern theme. I don't know if it was adapted from something. If he watches this video, he'll probably let me know. But as far as I know, it's completely original. Anyway, we're here to talk about Green Lantern Corps issue number 4. So this is actually the first issue that I have, no pun intended, taken issue with. Now, we start off with a fight scene. That's common enough in Green Lantern Corps. It's a very action-packed series. The problem is, sequential art is not this issue's strong point. You can kind of follow the dialogue to tell what's going on. I don't have it open on the screen right now. I wasn't planning to show you. I just thought about it right now. Thought it might be easier to explain. But basically, there's a fight scene. The power batteries are running out of power. The rings. They try to steal the willpower-powered swords. The lightsabers being used against them. It doesn't work. And if you follow the dialogue, you can kind of tell what's going on. Following the dialogue and the images, I had no freaking clue. I had to go back and read this and ignore the visuals because I could not figure out what was going on until I had already read it once and then went back to the beginning. Basically, it's a lantern tries to steal the lightsaber. It doesn't work because it's used only by one person, but it's really hard to tell this by the artwork. So that's my first issue. So we have this fight scene. They're taken prisoner. The Keepers, we don't know they're the Keepers yet. We actually find out later in this issue, finally. Fans have known since October, or, convention goers have known since October, and the comics are just now getting to it. But they execute a prisoner to show that, they're not playing no freaking games. They're the bad guys, period. And we knew this, but over the course of a few issues, we might have forgotten. So, it pretty much shows these guys are not nice. They're not after a peaceful resolution. If you surrendered, they're fucking killing somebody. That might be the first time I've sworn in this series. I'm probably not going to do it again. I'm trying to keep this mostly work safe. But I don't mind that part. That works pretty well. It establishes their characters and everything. Then we go to Guy Gardner interrogating one of the Keepers. They go into how they managed to get him into a state where he could be interrogated. Most of the Keepers killed themselves to resist interrogation. Standard ninja style practice. They're not ninjas, but I wanted to make a ninja reference. So he's sedated this guy, removed his armor. You can see his face and everything. Don't know why it looks like a skull, but hey, maybe we'll learn that. We learned a little about the Keepers. This is actually this is kind of unique to the new Green Lantern mythology. Obviously, Silver Age Green Lantern, he just kept his battery with him, or else didn't have access to it. I'm not sure if this was the Bronze Age, the Dark Age, New Age, but then we get to the point where they start keeping in hammer space. A pocket dimension type thing. They can carry the lantern around with them. In this mythology, up until recently, so during the 4 or 5 years, the lanterns would be teleported to the world of the Keepers of the Power Batteries. That's where they get their names. They would maintain the batteries, make sure they were working properly. When a lantern called upon it, they would give it to them. Shortly before this series started, maybe a year, a few months, Guy actually says the amount of time, but they were told they had to keep their lanterns with them from that point on. So that in itself is probably going to be a plot point at some point. It's not a huge thing here, other than that they can't recharge in the middle of battle, which I think was kind of a weakness to that weakness to the weakness. When you can recharge whenever you feel like it, the whole idea of your power ring losing charge doesn't have that same gravity. So here we know why about that. We've gotten the origin of the Keepers in that respect, and now the Keepers attack Oa. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. That's the ending. So that is kind of cliche, Green Lantern Corps, someone attacking Oa. Must be the 5th or 6th time that's happened in the past 5 years, but beyond that, it works alright. What I don't think works well, Martian Manhunter shows up. Now, this is the first time the new Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Corps of this reboot has met Martian Manhunter. First of all, he's kind of an asshole. He can't stand Green Lanterns. I don't know if this was in his character before, but, they make it blatantly clear now. He's part of some organization that's not the Justice League, and he's here to help to get information out of this guy so the Green Lanterns can keep them from attacking Earth. And he tortures the fuck out of this guy. He sticks his hands into his brain and stuff. I mean, I understand changing a little bit of powers and personality, but Martian Manhunter's whole thing of his being useful in interrogation was, one, he's an extremely peaceful guy. I don't know if you'd call him a pacifist, but he comes across as kind of like that. He's, the heart of the Justice League. That's what they always say. And here he, instead of any sort of mind reading, he puts his hands into the guy's brain. So we're pretty much establishing this is not a character you're supposed to like. And knowing what I do about Martian Manhunter in the past, I kind of take issue with that. So this is kind of the same kind of issue that has been brought up with other characters in this reboot. Making us not like our favorite heroes is not going to endear you with the old fans, and it's not going to bring on a ton of new ones. I mean, yeah, if this were the 90s, taking a character that was a pacifist and making him an asshole would kind of follow the trend. But here, it's more just a trend of keeping readers off our feet so we don't know whether or not we like the comic. So, despite these issues, I don't think these are issues that are going to continue. Martian Manhunter isn't likely to continue in Green Lantern Corps. He made that abundantly clear. Unless the Lanterns fail, him and his organization are staying completely out of this situation. So once this torture scene is done, Martian Manhunter will be gone. The sequential art thing not working well, it might happen again. I don't remember if this has been an issue in the past. I didn't pay as much attention to those things back then, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that. And otherwise, I'm going to give you a few more seconds of Sin Wicked, and then I'm going to end this episode.